recording and now. So, hi, my name's Chris, and this is Chris's Corner, and I have Crystal here from the Empowering Mentor. Good morning, Crystal. How are you doing this wonderful morning?
Good morning, Chris. I am doing fantastic. I am so honored to be on your show today, and I cannot wait to see what goodies have come up and what value that I may be
Yeah,
able to
I'm
add.
very excited. First, I think the way I want to start it is what is your story? So we're at the Empowering Mentor right now, but let's go back a few years and really go back to that bit of what got you here.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a rocky, rocky road, that's for sure. And
Okay.
yeah, so about 5 years ago, my dad had passed. And within that 1 year time, my dad had passed, and I ended up getting divorced with two teenagers. And I ended up moving back to my hometown. And it was a big shock. It was a big shock, loss of identity. There was a lot of changes, a lot of loss, and it was very hard for me to handle it. So I ended up in a downward spiral. I was fine at first. And then, like I was saying before, failure doesn't happen overnight. And just like success doesn't happen overnight. And I kept on spiraling down and digging myself a hole. And I was getting really depressed, really
And
depressed. I
what
was,
were some, sorry for interrupting, because for some viewers that are going through maybe depression or
yeah.
anxiety, what were some of those symptoms that you were finding that you were like, you were in that hole, like, in depression or in anxiety?
Yeah, good question, and good to let our listeners know what to look out for like
Yeah.
when you may be spiraling down into this cycle, and it starts off gradually. Whether
Okay.
it's like you stop wanting to go out in the world, you're isolating yourself. Another thing that happened with me, I honestly didn't care less like what I looked like. I wasn't showering, towards the end of it. I was, really isolated. I didn't want to talk to people. I just really didn't want to show up. I really did not want to show up. I was drinking more to numb the pain of like what I was experiencing and feeling lost.
Mm,
Yeah. So it was just when you start to feel like something is off, when you start to feel something is off,
yeah.
and you are like, ooh, like this might be an off day, right? But
Yeah.
you, and which is normal. We're allowed to have off days.
Of course.
But if you find that those off days keep on getting worse or keep on occurring more and more and more, then it is a good point, a red flag to really like stop and reflect on what's
Mm,
going on.
100%. All right. So you're going down this spiral. So what else is happening in this when you're going down in this spiral?
Yeah. So it's like I like to explain it. It's like, basically like you're digging a hole, right?
Yeah.
And when you're digging a hole and like you've got all of this soil coming on top of you, and it's making it harder and harder for you to see the way out. It's harder to see the light. You're losing hope. And you're like, is this what my life is right now? Is this really what's going on? And you
Mm,
don't feel like there's anything that you can change. And so when we are in the stage of depression, and so we're our thoughts are depressed and our thoughts are creating our beliefs, but our beliefs are creating our actions, what we're doing every day. So we're stuck
mm,
doing the same thing every single day. So at the end of the day, you're in the same situation and there's your results. So your results are proving your beliefs, and you're like, oh, see, I can't do it because I haven't done anything differently. And so if you keep on going, it just continues down this spiral over and over again.
So with your stories, so you've gone down this dark rabbit hole. What was that pinnacle moment where you're like, you know what, I've had enough. I want to change. I need to change.
Yeah. Um, it was really a wake up call for me. It was almost like I walked past the bedroom mirror, and I caught a glimpse of myself and
Mhm.
I didn't recognize myself.
Mm.
I had gained 40 pounds. I didn't even realize that, like of how much I had gained. I also had the kids had taken a picture of me during the holidays, and I hadn't even realized, like, oh my goodness, I don't recognize who I am,
Mm.
and that's not who I was before all this happened. I've always, liked to take care of myself and be healthy and happy. And yeah, I really just did not recognize myself. And I'm like, I did not come this far to get this far.
Yeah,
Something needs to change. Something needs to give.
100%. So you didn't recognize yourself. So what did you do to change?
Yeah, it was a process. Obviously, it took me a while to get where I was. So it takes a while
Sure.
to get back out. And so for me, a big thing was like I was really isolating myself. And I used to have like all the blinds down, and I never really wanted to look outside. So, as simple as it may seem, I really had to start opening up the blinds and looking outside
Mm.
because I needed to look and see that there's so much more outside of me. There's a whole
Okay.
world out there. And like if you're
Wonderful.
looking outside, then you're not looking so much within yourself, but you're seeing that there's a bigger picture out there.
Mm.
Y-
100%.
Yeah.
So you're looking outside. So what else are you doing? And what have you done to get to the place that you are now?
Yeah. So you're basically, yeah. So it's all about routine for me. So all
Okay.
about routine for me, like setting intentions. How do you want your day to be? And,
Mhm.
setting your intentions of how are you showing up? And it's
Yeah.
creating that identity of the person that you want to become. And it's basically including all of these habits into your routine. And then when nighttime comes, you reflect upon your day and you point out, what do you want to continue doing? What do you want to add to your routine and what needs to go away?
100%. So you're opening up the blinds, you're feeling a little bit better. What other forms of action did you take in that process to get to where you are now?
Yeah, a big thing for me was also getting back into physical movement, being
Okay.
able to move your body. And that's why I mentioned about opening up the blinds because you can see nature and you can see outside. So if you can get out in nature, and whether you're taking a hike, you're getting some fresh air and sort
Mm.
of like ground yourself and get in that present moment, it really helps to foster gratitude and get you present. So that was one of the biggest things that got me. I also reached out for support. Okay, because obviously, when you're in that dark space, it's very hard to get out of. And it's good to have somebody that sees the light, sees the other side of the bridge, and somebody who's going to hold your hand and walk you over that bridge together. So, yeah, so I did end up hiring a coach. I did get a coach myself
Great.
as
That's
well.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you got this coach. So
Mm,
now where are you taking us? So you've got this coach, you're
yeah.
feeling better, you're more empowered. What direction do you take now?
Yeah. So, okay. So once you're starting this process, it starts the momentum. So I was getting the momentum going. Okay. I was, you know, looking into things. I was finding myself. I didn't know who I was. And I was
Mhm.
finding myself and finding my purpose and what lit me up. And not I had to s you have to stop doing things like the negative habits
Yeah.
and then replace them with your positive habits and
Mm.
thoughts.
So where in that process, so why, because I know we talked earlier about being a life and a health coach,
Right.
where did you get the idea or the concept or where did it go? But bing, this is
Yeah.
my calling. This is my legacy. I feel so good with this. This is me. This is who I am. Where did you get that inspiration and that calling to take that direction and that leap.
Yeah, very good point there. Yeah, so for me, I was a personal trainer way back in the day.
Yeah.
I was a personal trainer. I trained in Boston, and then I ended up going down to New York and was training down there. And so I ended up getting married. I had two children and
Mm.
ended up being a stay-at-home mom. And I went to college as kids were getting older, and I started an early childhood education and special education, and and then with the way that things have been going, with COVID and being, all everything being on video, and it come across to me that I wanted to get back into the gym. I really, really enjoyed my time at the gym. I love watching people grow. I love seeing how far they can get and being the best version of themselves. And I was basically doing the same thing even when I was teaching in special education. I was able to see my students grow as an ed tech. And so I come across that I could be, because I was like, I want to go back to doing that because that really makes me happy. So it's going back to what you really enjoy doing. And realized and found out, because I was like, you can't do personal training online because, I like, how can you do that? But then I come to my realization you can be a health coach and help people online.
100%. So you found your calling being a life and a health coach online. And what has your experience been like being a health and a life coach? Like, what have you found that people? Maybe I'll throw a bone at you. It's like, what have you found people are struggling with right now, in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I find the biggest thing right now that people are experiencing is being stuck. They need that help to get into action. They need that help to like get uncomfortable. You need to start being comfortable, being uncomfortable, being able to get outside your comfort zone, mix up your routine, and start doing things that are going to start making you feel good. So I feel like
What's
that's what.
one little thing? So for the audience and the viewers out here, what's if they're comfortable, they're like, you know what, my blinds are down. I don't want to see the rest of the world. I don't care. I'm in this place. What's one thing that you like, a little tiny tip that you can recommend, or in your experience, that would help start that process of getting out of their comfort zone and being a little bit uncomfortable?
Okay. So a big thing for me that's really helped at the beginning was telling myself just for today. Okay. Just for today, I'm going to open up the blinds. Just for today, you know, I'm going to try something different. So it's like you can make a commitment to do something just for one day. And then you see at nighttime, like you're reflecting upon your day and you're seeing that you are starting to feel better. So you're setting these intentions, like, and it's basically awareness, being aware. But that was the first thing, like, was, you know, just being able to commit to one day at a time.
Mm, I really think that that is a very, just not thinking the big picture, but thinking just one little small tiny step is always crucial. And my last question before we head off is, technology is starting to become a massive play in our lives.
Mm,
Example, this meeting here, you know
yeah.
what I mean? But kids now, I imagine when I was a child, I'm not sure yourself, I played cops and robbers, all the whole 9 yards, not really much on my video games at all. And now video games seem to be an
Mm.
incorporation part of our lives. Kids are like, you know, my boys are like, they're all playing these little video games, but they're learning video games, which is really cool. Learning
Right.
games of how to do math and animals and all this. What's your take on the video game era, I guess you could sort of say?
Yeah, I like how you say error because, like, honestly, it is like such a difference because like when I grew up, I had like the Game Boy and Nintendo,
Yeah.
and like not only just it wasn't a huge part of my life, but the graphics have
Oh,
changed completely. Now it's like you're in there and it's like real life. And, I have two teenagers. My son is like really into like the gaming and all of that. And I
yeah.
understand we're in a different time period, right? And a lot of the
100%.
things are technology. But I just really find like, I think that if there's a balance, like my my son, he still likes to go outside and like, cut the trees down. He still likes to go out on the four-wheeler. He still likes to participate in real life.
That's awesome.
So I feel like if there's a balance to it,
Yeah.
then okay. But it's like that differentiate of like being able like being into that different dimension, that a video world, it's like a completely different world. And I don't know about you, but like I find that like it sort of desensitizes people.
I think, well, I have two ways of doing it. I think in a way I like your balance idea, because
Mm,
I think if you over because I've played video games till I was doing it for like 20 hours at a time, and it was too much. Like
right.
it was like I was consumed.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I think you have to have that balance of reality. And what I mean by reality is like this reality of like connecting with people. Not maybe, and maybe not connecting with people, but being in nature, being with your
Right.
family, being with
Yes.
the loved ones or friends, and doing and going outside, whatever that looks like to you. At the
Right.
same time, I think it's almost impossible to, I mean, now everybody's getting confined in spaces, all
Yes.
these restrictions and all these things are going on. And it's like, what are kids like? Kids can't be kids anymore. So I guess it makes I understand, maybe I'll say that I understand
Mm,
that, hey, I can't talk to Johnny, Billy, Sam, and Bob in person, but I can talk to
right.
them while we're gaming,
Right.
and I can still have my friendships there. It's a different perspective, a different way of doing it, but I get it, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. And I gotta like, that's another thing as well, is that, yeah, you are still connecting with people. And I
Mm,
guess the thing is, like, especially with the way, like with the lockdowns and all of that, and people not being able to connect with each other, this gives
100%.
a different outlet. It gives a different option that you can get together, because that is one thing, because the kids did having to like stay home and be isolated, but at least they were still able to connect with their friends. Whereas if it was us, we would have to like, it wouldn't be the same.
Nah, it would be a very it'd be a very different scenario. And I
Yeah.
and I think like even doing research on, even adults in their 30s are doing it. And I
Yes.
looked at it as well as like it's not just males, because you think a gamer is a male per
Right.
se. Back in the day, that's what I thought. Guys only,
Right.
girls, it's 50-50. Girls do it just as much as guys do it. And it's to say that, hey, we all need a form of connection. If that's being in person, awesome. If that works for
Right.
you, if you can do it, if
Right.
that means being in a gaming environment. But I definitely agree with you. Balance is key. You don't want to
Well,
burn yourself out, and you definitely do not want to. You want to create that healthy lifestyle. And last but not least, what is this podcast all about? The Empowering Mentor. What is it about? When did you start it? And we can tee up a time to go on your podcast.
yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So, oh my goodness. Yeah. So the empowering mentor is all about taking action. It's about getting
Okay.
you unstuck, taking action, getting healthy, and being the best version of you. And I started this podcast because I had no voice. Growing up, I was, oh, nobody ever listened to me. And then I got to the point that I was very shy. I didn't talk to people because I didn't think people wanted to hear me. And so to be able to have a podcast where I'm able to speak and speak my voice, and it just is so empowering. So
there's a quote out there. It's from the movie Coach Carter, and he's like, there's a quote which goes, if I'm able to talk about my goals and my dreams, it gives other people the power to do the same.
yes.
Or so, I don't know the exact quote because I
Right.
can't say, I don't know the exact verbatim quote, but I know it's just like if you speak your truth, your voice, and your experience and everything else, it allows people to open their doors, and it creates this massive ripple effect for other people to do the same, which then does for other people and other people. And now we're all speaking our truth and alignment and passion and legacy of what we're trying to achieve in this beautiful world.
Yeah, bam. That is absolutely like, I am so for that because like authenticity. When
100%.
we are showing up as our true selves, and this was like such a huge thing with my discovery as well, is that once I was able to accept and trust and love myself,
Yeah.
I was able to show up and be able to have my voice and be authentic. It opens up that door for everybody else to be the same.
I love that. Well, we'll have to be on your podcast.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Crystal. The
Oh,
Empowering
thank
Mentor. If you
you.
want to know more about Crystal, the Empowering Mentor, look you up. Are you on Facebook at all with the Empowering Mentor? Are you on Instagram? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Crystal, my handle is at Crystal R. Kelsey. And my podcast, The Empowering Mentor, is on Apple, Spotify, on all of them. So please
That's
hop
awesome.
over.
We look forward to being on your podcast. And thank you so much for this beautiful chat this morning. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Chris.
Take care.